2 title matches tonight, and that's not even the half of it. Let's talk NXT. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your bullshit Hallmark holiday edition of NXT. Let's, as we always do, let's get the house cleaning out of the way first. For those of you that were talking to me before about shows happening in the GTA, in the Toronto area that I'm going to, etc. Everybody else, everywhere else in the world, can chill out or tune out for a second while I remind people that were asking me about this on Twitter, etc. NXT Mississauga is happening at the Hershey Center in Mississauga on February 22nd. TNA is taping for their shows at the Don Kolov, which is Santino Marella's gym in Mississauga, on March 4th, and WWE Toronto is bringing the Road to WrestleMania tour back to the Ricoh Coliseum on March 23rd. I'm going to be at all 3 of those shows. Hope to see a couple of you guys there as well. If you do come, if you do see me, want to say hello, go for it. I'm going to direct you once again to the annotation up above. Please check out the Q&A. We're going to be doing one the week before WrestleMania. Please check out the Off the Cuff series. I just did one on the Booker T. Corey Graves situation, and let me just tell you right now that I did that video, and then it came out that it was all a work. And if you believe that it was all a work, you, my friend, have been worked. That's all I'm going to say about that. Please come and join me on the 205 live reviews that I'm doing on Tuesday nights now, especially with Drake Maverick taking over, crossover with the UK division and NXT for their tournament to crown a new Cruiserweight Championship. I love 205 Live now. 205 Live, now that Triple H has taken over, is NXT B, I guess you could say. I mean, especially with the inclusion of people like Roderick Strong, Hideo Itami, now Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy, if you want to get my thoughts on that, check out the video from last night, as well as guys from the UK like Tyler Bate and who fought last night? Mark Andrews, who's a lot of fun and advanced. Good for him. Tyler Bate didn't, because apparently he's got heat. But if I hear about more of that, then we'll get into that when we get into it. Start off tonight with a little bit of a hype package about Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong, and SHAYNA BASZLER getting a second shot at the Women's Championship against Ember Moon. Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong is for the UK Championship. Rightfully so. We spend this entire match hyping up the fact that if Roderick Strong wins, obviously he's going to be the first American to hold the UK Championship. Now, this gives me all kinds of flashbacks of D'Lo Brown holding the European Championship, but we won't hold that against Roderick Strong, will we? Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong was the first match of the night, and much like 205 last night, great show, great action from everybody involved. Not really putting anybody down, but this should have been the main event because this was a fucking good match. Collar and elbow tie to start, and Dunne presses Strong in the corner hard. And for the first little bit of the match, he's basically showing Roderick Strong, hey, I can push you around the ring. I can put you exactly where I want you to be. A second collar and elbow tie up, an armbar by Dunne, and escape by Strong. Dunne works, and this is where I love the UK guys. Not just Pete Dunne, but especially Pete Dunne, because I've seen him a lot over at Destiny recently. The way they manipulate the arm, the hand, the wrist, the shoulder, it's very slow, meticulous, and it's got an evil feeling to it. And he does the SHAYNA BASZLER does the move, we're going to talk about that later in the night as well. She does that move where she stands your arm up on your wrist and stomps on the elbow and whatever. He basically does that on the steps, which is fine. Roderick Strong gets himself back together, and you remember, for those of you that are watching 205 with me, when he did what they called a backbreaker, but really it was a cradle press against the ring apron, is what he did to Hideo Itami in his tournament match. But here he does the cradle press that they're calling a backbreaker against the steel steps, which had to hurt like a bitch. I don't care how fake wrestling is. Boot by Strong. And a mounted neck vice, basically standing on his chest, pulling up on his neck. That's got to hurt a lot as well. Pump handle backbreaker by Strong, followed by a pendulum backbreaker. Nigel McGuinness goes out of his wits, telling us that he's the messiah of the backbreaker. The backbreakers by Roderick Strong, I used to think it was cheesy. I'm getting into it now. You don't need to hammer it like the proverbial nail on commentary. It's, you know, in the match, it's like the RKO. It's like DDP with the diamond cutter. The you know, he can hit it out of nowhere type of thing. You don't have to keep You don't have to keep saying it. Just let it be a little bit. I like Nigel McGuinness, don't get me wrong. His enthusiasm balanced out with Mauro Ranallo's element, shall we say. We don't need Percy Watson, but that's another story for another day. It is good. His enthusiasm is fucking great. I like him on commentary. I wish he was doing commentary on more shows, honestly. But you don't need to do that, in my personal opinion. Stomps to the chest by Strong, and Dunne tosses Strong out. Double enziguri by Strong on the apron, followed by a facebuster on the edge of the apron. Once they get back in the ring, Pete Dunne does what I love and says, hey, anything you can do, I can do better. If you're going to hit me with a double enziguri, I'm going to hit you with an enziguri, and then another enziguri in the corner, and then I'm going to go back to your arm with an arm break, or sorry, a cross arm bar. Snap running Batista bomb by Dunne. I love the way Pete Dunne does the Batista bomb, because he does the Batista bomb, but he cinches it up, so it's a really, really tight pin combination when the pinning combination portion of the Batista bomb happens. It's really good. Go back and watch it. Tackle in the corner by Strong, German suplex by Dunne, dropkick by Strong, corner chops and a running forearm by Strong, pinning reversal sequence, and a cradle backbreaker by Strong. The cradle backbreaker that he does in the middle of the ring is great. The thing about it, and I keep saying the cradle backbreaker a lot, he does the cradle toss on the apron. It can't be as pretty and as crisp because you're throwing them into an inanimate object. When he does it in the ring, proper as a proper backbreaker, it's a fucking thing of beauty. I can't read my own damn writing. Over-under suplex and a super kick by Dunne, triangle choke by Dunne, and a slingshot by Strong. He slingshots him with his one good arm, which is... the way Roderick Strong, I haven't emphasized it enough, the way Roderick Strong is emphasizing the story of everything that Pete Dunne has done to his arm is fucking fantastic. I'm not saying it's quite on Ziggler, like, oversell levels, but it is there, and it's good. X-Plex by Dunne, forearms and a high knee by Strong, Tiger Bomb and a stronghold by Strong, but the bitter end comes for Roderick Strong, and Pete Dunne retains his UK Championship. I'm kind of torn on this, because, as you know, Roderick Strong has advanced in the tournament on 205 Live to crown the new Cruiserweight Championship, and he just had a shot at the UK Championship here. It would be kind of cool for me to go from not really being able to get behind Roderick Strong. You guys that have been watching me for a long time know that I've had that struggle. Amazing wrestler, give me a reason to give a shit. I've gone from that, you know, wanting something to hold on to with as a fan of Roderick Strong, to I wouldn't mind at all if he walked out of WrestleMania as the WWE Cruiserweight and United Kingdom champion. I don't think they're going to do that, because that's covering a very broad area. That's covering basically 3 different divisions. But it would be a cool moment for him. And I mean, let's be real for a second. The UK title is gorgeous. You don't want to be holding that side by side with the Cruiserweight Championship, which basically looks like a grapefruit roll-up. Awesome match. As I say, should have been the match of the night. We get a reminder that Almas versus Gargano for the title next week. Big video package, basically a recap of everything we saw last week. Reminder that, you know, Johnny Gargano's put his career on the line for another title shot. Big, you know, big babyface pop. I said it last week. People like Ember Moon, people like Bayley, people like Daniel Bryan, people like John Cena, people like Roman Reigns, who want to know what a true babyface reaction, a true babyface pop is, watch Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano does it better than John Cena, obviously. Johnny Gargano does it better than Roman Reigns, obviously. Johnny Gargano does it better than Bayley, obviously. Johnny Gargano does it better than Ember Moon, which is an odd one, because Ember Moon shouldn't be trying to get that same kind of babyface reaction. And I'm sorry, for all the marks out there, for all the ROH fans, for all the Bryan Danielson fans out there, Johnny Gargano does it better than Daniel Bryan. Oh yes. And then we get the announcement that also next week we're getting No Way Jose versus Velveteen Dream. Turning a corner as far as being a fan of Velveteen Dream as well. If Velveteen Dream kicks the ever-loving shit out of No Way Jose, it'll be a happy kid. But in the back, he's not talking about his match with No Way Jose next week, which is fine because it should be an afterthought, but he's talking some random shit about Tyler Bate. So if we're going to get Velveteen Dream Tyler Bate, possibly at the TakeOver before WrestleMania, that could be a cool little match. Tyler Bate, sort of an undersized guy, Velveteen Dream, Impressive as fuck in the ring. Gimmick is questionable, but the match will be cool. Tyler Bate, even though he was the first ever United Kingdom champion, he won that tournament. He was the TJP of that tournament, the Kairi Sane of that tournament. I still think he's overlooked in a lot of ways, because Pete Dunne is the UK champion that everybody's kind of rallied around, even though he's a heel. But Tyler Bate, in his own right, the Tyler Driver 97 is a move that I would love to see him attempt to do to the Velveteen Dream, just because of the size discrepancy. Speaking of size discrepancy, Aleister Black comes out in a black suit, and he doesn't come out of the stageway, he comes out of a smaller entrance. They're still at the Atlanta soundstage. Can anybody tell me why they're not at Full Sail? Like, is Full Sail not a thing anymore? I don't know. But he comes in a back entrance, he's in a black suit, and he's talking about all the things that he's done in NXT so far. Talks about the devil on his back, which is a metaphor that's a little on the nose, because we all know he has a literal tattoo of a devil on his back. But he says the devil on his back is the NXT title, and that's what he's got his sights on, and it's all good. Because it means, sooner or later, we're going to get Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas, which I think is going to be fucking great. But he is interrupted by Killian Dane. First of all, I started my NXT video, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, saying, just make Killian Dane the new fucking NXT champion. Killian Dane versus Almas is another match I'd like to see, but I don't know how they would quite get there. He says that there isn't a devil on your back, but I'm about to be on your back. The NXT title is coming home to me, and your path to glory is about to be stopped by chaos. Aleister Black simply replies to him that he will fade to black, and we have the beginnings of an Aleister Black Killian Dane feud. Fucking yes. Get it, guys. Where Eric Young and Alexander Wolf are going to fall into that mix, I don't really know. Because Sanity are babyfaces, and Aleister Black, while he's sort of neutral and sort of exists outside the babyface heel dynamic, I mean, the crowd loves him, which makes him babyface. So who are you going to boo here? Who are you going to cheer here? It doesn't matter. The match is going to be great. But what I'm saying is Killian Dane doesn't need any backup. And I don't see Eric Young and Alexander Wolf, either of the two of them, starting independent feuds with anybody. I mean, Johnny Gargano versus Eric Young was something I suggested a long time ago. But, you know, with the way things are about to go in the next couple of weeks, I don't think that's going to happen, at least not on the NXT level. I mean, can you imagine, in an entirely different universe, the Cruiserweight Championship tournament on 205 Live that's going to culminate at WrestleMania. Can you imagine if the finals, we've got a bunch of great guys in there already. We've got the Roderick Strongs and the Cedric Alexanders and the Mark Andrews and all that. But can you imagine in an alternate universe where the brackets are completely different, can you imagine if the finals at fucking WrestleMania were Johnny Gargano versus Eric Young? Please give me that universe for a couple of minutes. But I mean, Killian Dane versus Aleister Black, I can't help but think that this is eventually going to become some sort of #1 contenders feud. TM61 versus Two Jobbers is a match I don't care about. TM61 wins, and TM61 to me is about on the same level as Jobberelli and Gimmick Lost, and that's never a good thing, is it? Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon is our main event-ish type thing. Once again, I got to give a big credit to Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness, who talk about how amped up Ember Moon is, how she's got to be fight or flight because her arm is still fucked up. She's going to be fighting with fury rather than with logic, which is great because the match starts, and this is definitely a match of two halves. In the first half, you've got a dropkick and ground and pound by Ember Moon, followed up by stiff kicks to the body, to the midsection, to the ribs, etc. High knee, enziguri, bicycle boot, and a suicide dive by Ember Moon takes them both over the commentator's table. And here is where the entire story changes, because she hits that suicide dive. It's fucking gorgeous, but she fucks up her arm some more, and then you've got Shayna Baszler, the grappler, the MMA specialist, the submission magician, which is fucking great. I don't know who came up with that, but it's fucking great. You know, she's the Queen of Spades, she's one of the Horsemen, she's the submission magician, she's going to have as many nicknames as The Rock soon, is she not? But she kicks her in the back, stiff, kicks her in the shoulder, stiff, key lock, step up stomp, thing that I told you about before, inside, outside, and then a boot to the arm. Armbar by Baszler, high knee, and then then shoves Ember Moon shoulder first into the post. Everything absolutely obliterating the shoulder of Ember Moon. Baszler takes her to the outside, takes the protective covering off the guardrail, because they're not the big blocky guardrails that Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and even 205 Live have now. They're the old school metal interlocking ones, but they've got little cloth things over them that say NXT. She rips that off, pulls her arm through there, and just stomps the living fuck out of Ember Moon's shoulder. It's simple. It's an already existing thing. The commentators even make a point of saying, hey, even after TakeOver, she was able to go with that one arm and make a showing of herself in the Royal Rumble, make history, etc. But there's only so much of this she can take. She's getting dismantled while she's in that guardrail. She's prone, and it's broken up. But what is it broken up by? It's broken up by a springboard forearm by Kairi fucking Sane, who gets her licks in on Shayna Baszler, including a spear before Baszler fucks off, helping Ember Moon up and sort of showing Shayna Baszler, if nothing else, that she's going to get her licks in for what she did to her upon her arrival. That maneuver, I don't know, she fucked up Dakota Kai's arm with it, I think, where she basically posts the arm and steps on it. It doesn't look right, does it? And I mean, I don't mean anybody's botching anything. It just looks like a disgusting maneuver. I love it. It's fucking great. Baszler technically wins this match by DQ because of the save by Kairi Sane, so you gotta say, this feud will continue. Don't know if Ember Moon's going to have enough time to heal up that shoulder, or if there's going to be a side feud with Kairi Sane while Ember Moon heals, or whether they're just going to save this for TakeOver WrestleMania weekend. But more of this, please, because Ember Moon looks great, and Ember Moon is doing a great job of making Shayna Baszler, who's relatively new, let's be real for a second, look like $1 million. To the point where if Shayna Baszler does win, then it's not going to hurt my feelings whatsoever. Little side note, you guys know what I think of Naomi. Naomi partnered up with Paige after AJ Lee left and did that whole buddy thing with her. Then she buddied up with Becky Lynch, and now she's buddied up with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. You see footage of the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, when Ember Moon gets eliminated, and she raises Ember Moon's hand and helps her to the back to get an extra pop. Please, please keep Naomi away from Ember Moon if and when you move her to the main roster. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's just say, I love this show tonight. There's a lot of shit going forward. Kairi Sane's reinserted herself into the title situation. We had a great UK title match between Strong and Dunne. Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon is obviously going to continue. We've got the beginnings of Killian Dane versus Aleister Black, which is going to be fucking fantastic. Now, looking ahead to next week, 205 Live's got the last 2 matches of the first round of the Cruiserweight tournament. We got Jack Gallagher versus Mustafa Ali and Arya Daivari taking on Buddy Murphy, which should be interesting enough in and of itself. And next week on NXT, we got No Way Jose hopefully getting squashed by the Velveteen Dream, and Andrade Cien Almas versus Gargano, title versus career. Hope you guys will come back and join me. Like I say, go up to the top, add some questions to the Q&A, check out some of the other series that I'm doing. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.